Hello, so I have no idea if this has good or bad voice diaphragm or if it's even got one at all. I sort of suspect this might be the little voice diaphragm on it, as well as a bit of audio that comes out the exhale valve. But the Finnish M95 came, or just whatever variant of M95 it is from Commando Store. Didn't take too long to come from the US actually, which was good. And also my Swiss Civil Defence helmet came in bright yellow. So that's nice. It's basically an M1918 helmet, just made from aluminium and in bright yellow because it wasn't designed to give ballistic protection. It was just to give head protection from, impacts and bricks and things like that. And so you could see the person wearing it really easily. So good evening to everybody. So I imagine most of the stream will be talking about coronavirus. Interesting updates in the UK regarding that. One of which was they were casually talking on the news earlier about whether or not they would need to use foundries to incinerate bodies, as in, like metalworks. But sadly, I can't find like a BBC article, but it was on BBC or Sky News. They were just talking about like what the Cobra meeting entailed. And one was dumping bodies in the sea or using foundries to mass incinerate them. But don't forget, it's just the flu. So I was listening to LBC for the last couple of hours where people have just been phoning in about corona. And people are either phoning in saying I'm a bit worried, which is a pretty good aspect to take. People phoning in who are really worried, which again I can't blame for. And then the usual idiots, it's just the flu, why aren't you worried about the flu? They didn't say this is a muffin burger, but I think they should have been saying that. Yeah, exactly. We always have emergency meetings when there's a regular flu outbreak. We always talk about reposition, taking over foundries and incinerating them. We always talk about closing the schools for months, I'll find it again, yeah. UK Corona mass graves. Can I find it from searching that? Burial pits or something? Let me see if was it UK Corona 500k may die? Was it that one? Normally I can't. No, I know the Sun isn't that good a source, but here's one of the things. But yeah, they were on about mass graves and all that the other day as well. If you donate an old bandit, like $1 or anything, and give your Discord ID, you can get on. Most people I know about who actually are in any sort of medical type thing now are saying take it seriously, which is, good advice. Can I actually fit this strap over there? Like that. This seems really short, this strap at the moment. Probably just because I've got the mask on. Is that fully expanded at the moment? Don't mind me while I'm playing with my strap. Ah, there we go. That's fully loosened now. Right, let's try again. Oh, amazing. I reckon this helmet might actually work with this strap, if I can find where the helmet buckle's gone. No. No, almost. Right, try again. What I need is for it to not shoot back up when I do this bit. Then I'll go back to the chat in a second. Sorry, I'm just a bit going, ooh, can I get this helmet to work for the strap? Because most don't. That's why it's quite nice if you actually get a helmet that has a strap system that works with a respirator. There we go. Excellent. Thank you, Voltage Blue. Keep rocking on, man. Appreciate the dedication and consistency. Cheers. Thank you very much. The only thing that's been a bit annoying for me recently is just not being able to keep up with all the comments on regular videos, because I used to answer like every single comment I'd get, unless it was somebody saying like, you're a dickhead, kill yourself. But now, annoyingly, I just get so many comments, I can only really reply to like a dozen or so every now and then during the day. And thank you very much, Kevin. He said 2 questions, if you don't mind. Is it possible to change a mask filter in the field? If so, how? Yes, but it's still not 100% effective. I'll show you in a second. And how do I prevent dry masks in rot for storage? My Discord. Let me add you on Discord, then I'll go back to your question. Or questions, sorry. So in terms of changing a filter, the easiest way of explaining it is hold your breath, change the filter, and then start breathing again when the new filter's on. I know that's not a brilliant explanation, but I'll demonstrate that in a second. And what was the other one? You said dry rot. Silicone lubricant is very good for preventing dry rot. If it's a mask, it's all right to use silicone lubricant on. Also, can everybody hear me okay with this mask on? Oh, thank you, Old Bandit. Post your Discord ID, because I know you said you wanted a Discord invite. So make sure you post your ID. Because I sometimes get people donating, then they forget to give the Discord ID, then like a week later they ask for it, and I can never remember if they've donated or not. But yeah, I'll show you the silicone lubricant in a minute. Oh, good. So, because when I was doing the review for this today, I was like, does this actually really have a voice diaphragm? So I assume it's just a fair amount of your voice comes out the exhale valve. And that sort of secondary one there, I reckon, gives you a lot of your voice. But right, let me just see if an Old Bandit's going to post his Discord ID, and then I want to answer your question about filters. There we go. Because, yeah, the problem is I don't want to miss sort of donation things in the chat. So let me just do that. I need to take the space out, don't I? Hang on. There we go. Yeah, I really like this Swiss, not Swiss, sorry. The Swiss thing's the helmet. I really like the Scott M95. So thank you for whoever said they had them on Commando store and they actually shipped to the UK. But I think I prefer my M98, which I still need to bloody find because I have no idea which box I've put it in. But yeah, I'm going to explain in a minute about changing filters and all that. Right. So let's say you want to change your filter. Let's do a demonstration. So what we're going to do is, remember, this isn't 100% effective and all that, and you would never want to do it when there's nerve agent around. But let's say you have to change a filter on the mask and you've got no other option. What you do, take a big breath in, unscrew the filter. While holding your breath, you'd get your new filter out. Put it in the filter. Oh dear, I might die doing this because I haven't actually tried this mask before for changing filters. Right, I failed that. I just want to work out which way the filter screws. Is it that way screwed? Right, yeah, it is. Right, let's try that again. So what you do is obviously, yes, it does help if you know you need to practice doing the filters on a certain mask because sometimes it's not as easy as it looks, especially if you have gloves on and everything. Yeah. Take a big breath. Get your new filter. Without cross-threading it. Yeah, I failed that again. This mask, this isn't great for changing the filters, I have to say, when you're wearing it. Some masks I've got are really easy to get the filter in. But the point is, you hold your breath, you swap the filter, then you exhale very strongly, as hard as you can, and then you're good to go. But yeah, with my CT12, one of the reasons I like it so much is the filters are very easy to change on it. Yeah, that's exactly why you practice, but bear in mind I've only had this mask since today. I can look in the webcam, it's still not that easy. The problem is it's the cross-threading thing. So, let me take this helmet off. This is why I think masks for most people with the forward-facing filters are a lot better. So let me demonstrate that for you. So let's get this mask off. So there's that one. Right. The Israeli M15's right there, so let's use this as an example. This is one I have practiced with before doing it. So also know if it's clockwise or counterclockwise on your mask when you're wearing it. That helps massively. Obviously knowing which way in advance you need to... Right, so we've got our mask on. Let's take a big breath in. You get your new filter out, put that in. There we go, good. I've practiced with this mask and it probably shows. Also, I think it's always easier when the filter's kind of in the middle of the mask. The problem with some masks is the actual filter intake starts moving away when you push it. But yeah. I'll go to the super chats in a second, thank you very much. And also an interesting thing for my regular viewers, notice the name on that filter? FP6. The one's newer than the FP5s. I'll do a video cutting one of these open, but you can actually see the P3 HEPA filter at the front there. I don't know how easy that is to see. No, but you can see the ridges on it. There you go. Right, let me catch up with the chat, sorry, because I obviously was playing about with masks and explaining that filter thing. Machine Pistol donated, thank you very much. Nintendo Boy donated again, thank you. That Canadian Warehouse guy I told you about said he's going to try and get me one. He wants to know your size, medium. For most masks, yes, please, medium. I don't mind paying for it as well if you want anything towards it once you've got that. Right, okay, let me add Machine Pistol, who gave his Discord ID. But yeah, thank you very much. But yeah, like I say, the issue, for people who don't know, I've wanted a Canadian C4 for ages, but it's one of those masks that just never seems to turn up unless you want to pay stupid money for it. Right, all P100 filters technically expire, but they don't really expire like charcoal filters. So I'll try and explain this. So basically, when you've got a particle filter, and until it gets really, really old, where it basically just degrades itself, what will end up happening is you'll basically, what was I going to say? It's only going to clog over time from dust and shit getting in it. Or decontaminate a mask after you've been wearing it outside. Right, thank you, Hillbilly Prepping. I don't really use Facebook, in all honesty, very much. I only really use Facebook to have Messenger with friends. That's about it. But thank you for the invite. Other people might find it helpful. Somebody keeps sending me messages during the chat. Are you on the stream, the person at the moment? But that looks like, I guess, a combination filter. Oh. I'm just going to quickly reply to this person. Right, there we go. Anyway. But yeah, so like I said, the main thing I've been saying apologies for at the moment is simply just the amount of comments I can't answer, because I used to be able to answer every bloody comment every bloody day. Even days when I was at work, you know, on my lunch break, I could be like, all right, I'll do a dozen comments now, you know, do another 30 when I get home. Now it's got to the stage where I seem to get like 30 to 50 comments an hour. So basically it's just I'll go on a few times a day, reply to any comments that happen to have turned up most recently. Somebody is spamming the chat with the word "da." I guess it's a Russian. Goodbye. So decontaminate. I covered it in a video. The easiest thing to use is 70% alcohol spray, because that's about the right number. You basically just get your mask, spray it down with it on your face and all that, wipe it over. The rubbing alcohol kills viruses and bacteria and all that shit. Is Bowhunter556 your Discord name or something else? Sorry, Justin, SDS. Because shouldn't there be another number on it, like the hashtag ID? If you put lubricant on rubber straps, you can move them a bit easier. It's going to depend on the mask. Some rubber straps move easily, some don't. It's more down to the clamp, really. What's your 4-digit ID, Justin? Because with Discord, you have a username and then a 4-digit ID. Oh, thank you, Brandon. Let me add you. Satan's Advocate. But yeah, let me add you. Friends. Send friend request and invite to server. Thank you, Sam. No, I had, for the people who don't know, I had a phase where GCHQ, I think, were trying to troll me on video a while ago, because for those of you that don't know, like a couple of years ago, there was a nerve agent incident in the UK where apparently the Russians were poisoning an ex-Russian spy or something. Now, basically, I have no doubt that the Russians, if they wanted to, would poison people in other countries. But the thing is, Russians seem to be pretty bloody good at killing people they don't like when they do it. So we had this kind of botched nerve agent poisoning thing, according to news, but it was apparently this nerve agent called Novichok that was so much stronger than VX, like 10 to 50 times stronger than VX, and I'm sure some of you know, like a single milliliter of VX could kill a dozen people, if it was evenly distributed. But apparently, they poisoned all these people with Novichok nerve agent, worse than VX, and like only one person died that was a heroin addict or something, which didn't really add up. So I doubted it, and then all of a sudden I was getting lots and lots of copy-paste things of how dare I doubt the government people who know more than you. Yeah, thank you, Justin. That was exactly what I wanted. Your proper ID. Let me add you as well. So yeah, I had a phase where it was a bit like China's 5 cents warrior, but I think the UK government's one, who they admit they actually pay money to, correct information online, or however they say it. But I've not had anything like that for ages. I think once that went off for being a news story, they probably had their budget assigned elsewhere. If you have an S10 that's been in the shed for a while, yeah, just clean it up, check all the valves work and all that, and it should be fine. All right, thank you, Nintendo Boy. But yeah, that's nice anyway, thanks, because it's just one of those masks that people have told me, it's a really good mask because it's from the same period as like the S10 and the M40. Whatever was that Generation 4 masks, I think they used to call them. I don't know. But, that generation of masks, like late 1990s, early 2000 masks. And yeah, I really like those. But again, it was just one I've never been able to get my hands on because I'm not paying $300 for an old surplus one. Let me catch up with the chat. Sorry. Alexander said, recommending an optical scope for Expo under 50, 70 euros. Is it better to save money and buy something expensive? Right. I have found, obviously, the main issue you might have zeroing a scope is velocity. So when you're looking for a scope, look for one that's ideally made for bows, just because the issue is if you put a rifle scope on it, a lot of rifle scopes are built for, velocities of a bullet going like over 1,000 feet per second. Crossbows generally shoot a couple of 100 feet per second. Some air rifle scopes might be all right if you can get an air rifle scope that fits it, because a lot of air rifle scopes are designed for like 400, 500 feet per second kind of air rifles. So therefore, the scopes you can sometimes zero into the right area. But it really depends, I've found. Now, Mankung do scopes, and their scopes are very good. So if you can get a Mankung scope, I don't know what they'd retail at. Yeah. You don't want to, that fit, good point. You don't, if you're decontaminating a mask, you want to spread it over the filter, but not on the intake, because yeah, you're going to make the insides of the filter soggy if you put decon stuff inside the filter. Not a good idea. Yeah, thank you for that. That's a good point. Let me just see, Mancone crossbow scope. Let me see if I can find you the type that came on my crossbow, because it can't be too expensive a scope, because they actually supply them with some of the crossbows. Right, so on a lot of the Mancung crossbows that retail at like £200 over here, they come with a scope with them, and that scope is perfectly adequate. It's one that you can illuminate, either red or green, and it's not really got a crosshair as such. It's got like 2 lines like that, and then it's got some circles like that. So, you obviously zero it, so the distance you're shooting is the main circle, and then I think it's like every 10, 20 yards you use the next circle down. It's not like a fully calibrated scope, but it's one of those... Right, they've not got... right, I think it's this one. Yep, here we go. If this is the same one that came with my crossbow, or the later model, it will be this one. Have you put any tape around it, Darren? Because the Scott filters aren't GOST, they're NATO, but with the right sort of tape. Oh, I've got the perfect keyboard for typing fast on, look. IBM Model M. Old retro, like 80s keyboard. Also, for people who are interested in this, nothing to do with the stream, really, but quite interesting. Let me show you something. If the cable's not going to get tangled. There we go. Can you see that? If it wants to focus. Go on, focus. I managed to get this piece of shit working. So I've logged 70 Rontgen on it since earlier. But yeah, I've managed to get that working. It's not perfect. It probably needs a new battery in it as well, but there we go. Old crappy West German ionization chamber I don't like very much. I've put some radium and uranium-based crystals inside the ionization chamber, hence why the reading's so high. But yeah, it's working and it's logging radiation dose. So yeah, there's that. So the dosimeters section on it does actually work. The only problem is, see with the needle on that, it's still a bit dodgy, like in that regard. I think it's something to do with the power cable on that. Yeah, it is. Look, it's the power cable comes loose. No, it's saying like 300 wrong. Yeah. But anyway, that was just that. But for those of you that know, I like playing around with dosimeters and Geiger counters and all that. Old-fashioned iron chamber I never had working. I've figured out part of the problem is just the power cable is shit on it. Oh, let me add you, Fumu. I'm just going to scroll back up in the chat and check if I've missed anything. But yeah, don't worry. I've not got hundreds of Rontgen in the air in my room. That's just from alpha particles bombarding the inside of it. The M90, that's the Czech one, isn't it? Czech Republic one. That's like an S10. Again, if I find one for a good price. The thing is that I normally say to people about gas masks and all this sort of stuff is I like collecting them, I like reviewing them, but I don't want to pay stupid money for them. So, because I've got enough for myself and family members and all that for an actual emergency, most of the time it just, is it a feasible thing to buy for, reviewing? Rubbing alcohol is fine, engineer, as long as it's not something that's going to damage it by, you putting that sort of stuff in it, if that makes sense. Right, let me go back to the chat now. I've sent people invites. I don't think they should panic. Panic's never good. They should be realistic and say it could be quite bad. I ought to stock up on things while I still have the chance. I ought to take precautions, work out what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a video on that, I think, for next week at some point, because a few people have requested it, including people that have donated as well, so that always gives me a kick up the arse to actually do it. But, it's like to do with stuff like, what sort of stuff would you, like what sort of stuff should you stockpile to do with food, like disinfectant, all that sort of stuff. Who are the vulnerable people in your family or friend group? Who should you not be in contact with as much, not in a negative way, but just so you don't risk spreading it to them or getting it from them. Yeah, but they're not going to be laughing, are they, from Aggie? And I imagine that stuff doesn't really go out of date, does it? So you can always use it up over the course of years if you don't know. Oh, so Dollar Tree in the US does rubbing alcohol. I think they do it in Poundland over here. Thank you. Well, the Iranian situation regarding coronavirus. Right, so in Iran, there could be a couple of things happening. The death rate, for those of you that don't know, let me get the map up. Let's read what their current thing is as of last time this map was updated. In Iran, 388 cases, 34 deaths, meaning it's almost a 10% death rate. It's like a 9% death rate. There's a couple of things that could have been... Thank you, JM. There's a couple of things that could be going on right now. One of the things could be that they've just underreported the cases. So what's actually going on is that, the cases are far higher. So they're only accurately reporting deaths, although supposedly they're not even reporting deaths accurately. So what's probably happening is either their health system isn't doing a very good job, or the virus there might have mutated and it's particularly dangerous. It's hard to say. But it's not a particularly reassuring thing coming out of Iran. Let's put it that way. Yeah, flex tape, duct tape, electrical tape, plumber's tape. There's lots of tapes you can use for gas masks and filters. That's interesting, Titan. As in, they have control over it at the time being, like with the cases and all that, but they think it might eventually. The thing is, thank you very much, Cold War 34. Let me add you. I think what's probably going to happen in a lot of places is the best thing they can do is delay it, So the longer and longer it takes to, spread from people to people, the better, because then hospitals aren't overwhelmed. The problem we have in the UK is apparently our hospitals are nearly always running at 100% capacity, like high 90% capacity. So if you suddenly have a massive influx of people who need beds, especially if that then needs to be, ventilation machines and all that, they are fucked. Which is why you really don't want to get it in the UK. We have quite a good socialised healthcare system, as in, you're not going to run up horrible medical bills if you even need quite expensive stuff doing, because it's paid for through taxes that aren't all that high. So I like the UK system, especially because I'm chronically ill. But the worry is, of course, if there is some emergency, they just can't cope with it. Yeah, you can get some brands of duct tape, can't you, Casper, that's really sticky. I think there's one we've got called like T-Rex tape or like Raptor tape or something like that. It's got a dinosaur on it, and that's really sticky tape, as in if you get on your hand, you'll struggle to get it off. Or as in they're just not reporting the numbers, so if you put all the deaths on there and you had all the total cases, it would get to about 5%. That's a bit more reassuring, but still not a good number, is it? Especially if you think, are the hospitals overwhelmed at this point? Yeah, exactly. Watch some of the footage coming out of places. Also, an important thing to bear in mind is, if you look in the description for people asking for the map's in there. Look at what a lot of countries are doing, not what they're saying. So if they make a public statement saying one thing, but you see, they're building a load more hospitals, they need, they're converting sports stadiums, it's a lot worse than they're letting on. Thank you, Mr. Live Era. Let me add you. So I think that's something you always need to pay attention with most countries. Look at what actions they're taking, not what they're saying on their press report kind of things. Yeah, that's the reason I don't like a lot of parcel tape, Casper, just because a lot of it just splits easily. I just generally prefer bulk buying duct tape and using duct tape. Dev writes, Urgabuggers, have you lost your thing? Post, Tom Muir, post in the thing, and then I will give you the thing back. Yeah. I don't know, I didn't remove you as a moderator, did I? I don't know why you've lost it. There you go. Done. Let's check the thing. Grow Junkie Radio says, do not forget to like the stream. Every like is a win. Thank you very much. Yeah, don't forget to like the stream, because it means YouTube shares the videos more. And one of the problems at the moment is they demonetize every single thing related to coronavirus, because only the World Health Organization is allowed to talk about it, and they're shilling for China. And wasn't it only today they actually put it as the highest level thing, because they said up until like a day ago there's no evidence of community transmission, even though if you look at Iran, South Korea, Italy, it's bloody obvious that people catch it from other people, just in public places. Rafu says, please answer what? What was the Spanish flu's actual fatality rate? As in, if you had 100 people get it, how many died from Spanish flu? Put duct tape around them, Martin, if you need to seal off goggles. That's the easiest way of doing it. I'd say better safe than sorry, but it depends on the goggles, because you get some goggles anyway that are airtight, like swimming goggles. Yeah, you see, there are people who are legit racist about it, in the sense of, saying subhuman Chinese spreading this virus, or blah, 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 and that's them, that's me doing a quote. I'm not actually saying that myself. But it's kind of annoying, isn't it, whenever somebody says maybe they shouldn't have wet markets, or maybe we should have stricter border control so this doesn't spread out of control. All of a sudden you get people, you're racist. Where, again, please, for those people, learn what the word racist actually means. Not somebody has an opinion I don't like. All right, if I caught up with invites to the server, yeah. What about Pole Samurai Step? And Jan said, do you think German surplus AD for €4 each? Definitely. Even if just for the particle filter price, that's amazing. And even though they're not guaranteed to work against vapors anymore, if they're not that long expired, they should still work against quite a lot of vapors. As in things like if you were painting and stuff like that, and fumes from acetone and stuff like that. Please answer what, Edgars? Let me control F and see if I can spot your question. I saw good prepared smiley faces. Please answer, please answer, please answer, please answer. Ask the question again. Don't keep spamming please answer, because if it's lost somewhere in the chat, I'm not going to see it, am I? What do you have? Have for what, Edgars? What masks do I use? What NBC suits? What gloves? What do you mean? How long, Martin, thank you very much. So how long do I have to leave UVB lights on to disinfect whole rooms from the COVID-19 virus? Right, I'm not an expert on UVB. Obviously, the higher the wattages, the better. I imagine an easy test is if you turn a light on in a dark room and it illuminates all the room, you know you've got enough coverage. Probably a couple of hours, I'd imagine, at a minimum. I know viruses die pretty quickly when exposed to UV, but you'd rather be safe than sorry. But a lot of the time, apparently, with lights, it comes down to like wattage and everything of the bulb. Nintendo, thank you. If you can't find a medium, would you still want one another size? Yes, please, because at least I can evaluate the features. And sometimes the masks, I'll find a small will fit me not very comfortably, or a large will fit me not very comfortably. Just with most masks, I'm always medium. Medium's always the best, and generally if I order a mask, I go for a medium unless I can find a sizing guide and then find out I'm not a medium in that mask. Yeah, the problem is with mainstream media, Casper, is at least what they've been doing here is they've been downplaying this whole thing, and now they're suddenly on panic mode, where if you'd been watching stuff, you could have seen this coming for ages. It's like, oh, we've got this virus that's spreading really fast. It's got a very high R0. You can spread it even while you're in the incubation period for months or weeks, you know, like 2 to 4 weeks, basically, incubation period, it seems. And then, yeah, oh, this is going to affect a lot of people. And even if it wasn't that deadly, it's going to overwhelm medical services and cause, you know, like financial problems. And then it potentially could be really dangerous. Oh, no, you're paranoid. It's just the flu. It's just the flu. Oh, who'd have thought? This is bad, you know. You know, if you looked at how China was just locking stuff down and damaging their own economy, you knew it was serious, because Chinese communists aren't going to have much, you know, compassion for human rights. So if they're shutting everything down to keep it in control, you know it's basically they're fucked. Yeah, there is evidence, isn't it, that it's laying dormant in people, which is scary, and then it causes like heart problems and testicle problems later on. Was this Trudeau saying that, Trent? Because, I mean, I know Trudeau likes wearing blackface and then pretending he's a very compassionate person who cares about everybody. I don't really like going into politics too much, but Trudeau's a virtue-signaling cunt. You know, that's my opinion on him. Whoops, sorry, is that a hate crime? Did I make him cry? But, you know, it's like, it's one rule for him, one rule for everybody else, isn't it? And that's what I hate about a lot of these, like, incredibly far-left people, you know, that if anybody says anything else, they'll slander them and say they're racist. But if they do all this stuff, it doesn't matter. Oh, hello, Mike. You're on. Sorry if I missed you if you came on earlier. Right, for anti-fogging lenses and old bandit, you know the GP5 era ones? You can put those in the GP7 and it'll work fine. Or you can buy some of that paste. You can just find it online for like windscreen anti-fogging paste and just wipe that on the inside of them. I must admit, Toasty, as much as I normally like Trump for making everybody cry online, I didn't like Trump recently going, you know, Corona isn't a big deal. It's an anti-Trump thing. I've got it under control, what Trump says. You know, that's the thing with this is Trump should be taking this quite seriously, because it does seem to be a serious thing. What do I have in what regard, Edgar? Don't keep asking the same question. What do you have? Illness-wise? Mask-wise? I gotta tell you, my tan looks very strange. Yeah, it certainly is, Albert, because at least the thing is, if you isolate yourself in your house, that's the best way of not getting it. So yeah, a stockpile of food and water, at least you're going to survive on that. Also, medications you may need. Hello, Alexander, thank you very much. Should I clean a surplus mask after purchase? How? Right, I've done videos on it. The simple answer is with most modern masks that aren't going to get damaged easily, take the filters off, put a load of soapy water or disinfectant in the sink with warm water, just dunk the mask in it and leave it there for a few minutes and let it dry out properly. That will clean it and disinfect it quite easily. Thank you, Dwarven Miner. He said it's sad that if it takes a stock market crash for everyone to suddenly wake up to COVID. Can't wait till this is all over. Yeah, that's the thing. I think that's why a lot of the media is now suddenly taking it seriously, because, you know, the finances are already crashing. The only good thing I was going to say for people who want to invest money, not that I'm a stock market expert or anything, so this is probably going to be very bad advice, so don't sue me if you lose a load of money, is when the stock market keeps crashing, there's probably a lot of shares you can buy that in a couple of years' time will have gone back up. Good companies to invest in might be ones that make masks and like medical products, you know, because they're going to be in quite high demand soon. For £20 volatile, there's not going to be a lot of choice. Look for Czech CM3s and Czech CM4s on eBay, maybe Polish MC1s. Yeah, this is the biggest financial crash since the 2008 or whenever it was, big recession. And yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I have no clue about Bitcoin or any cryptocurrency, so I really can't advise you on those. Don't forget to like the stream, everyone. There's over 400 people on and nearly 200 likes. So if we get the like number up a bit, it will share it despite YouTube demonetizing it as usual. Also, something that pissed me off, I was watching one of Dr. John's videos, I like his videos, and YouTube demonetizes all of those, right? Because it's a Corona video. But YouTube on the adverts at the side of the page, adverts for renting movies like Contagion and all those. So it's like, oh, well, insensitively advertise movies about people getting viruses and dying. That's okay. But the person who makes this video can't make any money from, you know, doing like a doctor or a nurse's sort of perspective on a virus. Thank you, Drive Turkey Lips. He says, is the M95 a quality unit? How long do you think they are good for? Right, I think it's very good, is my answer to that. I'll put it back on. Out of this and the M98, I prefer the M98 because that's panoramic and got a better voice diaphragm on it. But in terms of the M95, it's bloody excellent. This is the one without the drinking tube on, but it's that really good, nice, soft rubber. It's a very similar rubber to the Fushida and the M98 have. So very comfortable. Only thing I don't find too comfortable is see how big the chin bit is in there. That digs into like there a bit for me, but otherwise it's fine. But yeah, they've done the sensible thing of putting like the softer silicone stuff in for the oral nasal cup. You can wear glasses with this as well if you've got the frames. It's got the bit on there for the glasses, and it's got a really comfortable mesh head strap thing, a bit like the Fushida, the M98, the CT12, FM12, all those. So yeah. I was lucky that this one, even though it was second hand, is pretty much brand new condition. These would last decades as long as you look after them. This rubber is not going to go wrong anytime soon. So there's that. Where did I put my helmet? There it is. Put the helmet back on with it for shits and giggles. There we go. If you wanted to be fully protected from bricks, what's better is riot helmets with a visor coming down. But yeah, the weird thing is this is an aluminium helmet. It's not like the retro M1918s, which are actually made from steel. These are a lot heavier, these. But this one's made from aluminium because it was simply for civil defence workers. But it's a cool looking helmet. Oh, I don't want to drop that. But yeah, it's... So this is a cheaperized version of the helmet, but I quite like it. It looks cosmetic as fuck. Obviously, yeah. Show me your Geiger counters. Right, I'm not going to get them all out, but see that box down there? Can you see that box? They're all in there, look. So you can see the massive old British one. You can see a Soviet DP5. You can see the CDVs in there because they're bright yellow. There you go. Oh, and what's this one on at the moment? 150 Roentgen per hour. 75 Roentgen accumulated dose, apparently. if it wants to focus. There we go. That's not a Geiger counter, that's an ion chamber, but similar enough shit. Thank you very much, open bracket, close bracket. Do ABEC 1 filters WO P3 work, fly tomorrow with 3 MRS? Yep, as long as it's P3, it'll be fine. Oh, without the P3. If it's without P3, it's harder to say. You'll certainly get some particle protection from it, because where it's ABEC 1, the charcoal is held in at either end by a particle filter. But it won't be P3 rated, it'll probably be P1 or P2 at best. So you definitely get much better protection wearing that than the regular thing. Whether or not it'll be good enough level of protection, I don't know. That's why I've always said combination filters or just P3. But it certainly will give you better protection not wearing it. And certainly better than the surgical mask or something like that. But yeah. ABEC 1, it's got a lot of charcoal in it at least, which will act as a filter medium, and it's got stuff to keep the charcoal in to stop you inhaling it or it falling out the filter, so it will provide quite good filtration against particles. Simpsons has like predicted everything. I guess that's what, because they did so many episodes. You can still buy Russian's Children Mask of the Hose unless they've sold out everywhere. If you wanted to get a children's mask, the Soviet ones, one of the best ones is actually the later gen PDF. Let's get this little bastard out. Here we go. This is a late gen PDF. These are quite good. The only thing I don't like on these is the straps, because they use that bloody horrible old strap system that the PMKs use and the GP7s, but these are quite good quality otherwise. No, that's not a German Stahlhelm, it's a Swiss Stahlhelm, and it's a civil defense one. If you've got 10 Type 80 Israeli filters, that will easily be enough. But yeah, 60 Scott filters, 10 Israeli filters, that will be fine. No, for Soviet masks, you'll need something that's a 1/7 thread pitch, like Polish FP5 and FP6 filters, or old GOST, or you don't want to use old GOST filters, or you want to get like modern Russian and modern Chinese filters. But these should screw in fine because of the thread pitch. Although saying that, this one's quite tight actually. I don't know if the FP6 actually goes in as well as the FP5. Is that an old Soviet one, SSH-36? Oh, look, I'm starting to get okay at that, but yeah. So if you want something guaranteed to work, get a modern Russian or modern Chinese filter. But see, this mask pile one went in fine, and it's the same thread pitch officially. That's strange, isn't it? They're both the same thread pitch. This is the problem Laser had. I think he got an FP5 filter that wouldn't go onto his Soviet mask. So I guess every now and then you just get one that doesn't want to screw in. But, yeah. I'd say if you're ordering from Amazon, just order directly. Oh, thank you, Caroline. How can I put the drinking tube into a Fernez 0194 mask at Rave today? Right. I don't actually know off the top of my head because I'll take this off again so I can actually talk a bit easier. But did it come with a drinking tube included in the kit? Because the Fernez one I've got, I don't think it's designed to work with a drinking tube, but I know there's different models of it. Is there like a screw bit for the drinking tube? Sadly, Hentai Connoisseur, which is a great username, it's not as easy as just simply moving to the US. Because weirdly, the thing about the US citizenship stuff is it seems like it's a lot easier if you're a Mexican, like getting across that way, either, you know, claiming asylum somehow and doing it that way, than being a European saying, I'd like to move to the US. Again, I don't make the rules, do I? But I mean, I'd quite like to try and make England a better place, living here, you know, because it is my country after all. Yeah, so with the furnace one, I don't actually know. So it didn't come with a drinking tube then. Are you sure it's model compatible with a drinking tube? Because lots of masks aren't. I would get the furnace I've got, but I don't actually have it in this room. It's stored in a storage box in the conservatory at the moment. But yeah, not all masks come with drinking tubes. An S10 will be absolutely fine. They're bloody good masks. GS Electric said, how long will Israeli filters last in the virus? Mine from the 90s even seem... Oh, Israeli Type 80 filters then. They'll be absolutely fine. It's going to be until they clog up and you can't breathe through them, the particle bit at the front, but that's going to take pretty much forever, unless you're in a city where there's constantly smoke around. Well, what I will say of the UK is it's going to be very interesting seeing what happens if this does become an apocalyptic level virus rather than it just burning out quite quickly. And as time goes on, it looks worse and worse. So I think stuff is going to radically change if there is a virus that culls a lot of the population. CM4, as in a check CM4's filter? Or do you mean the CM4 gas mask itself? Oh, the marks. Sorry, I misread as masks. If it has marks on it, as long as it's in good condition, the filter, it should be all right. It's more, is it horribly dented? Because if it's horribly dented, it probably means somebody's dropped it a few times and the filter medium's got a bit crushed inside. That's interesting, Trent. I didn't know that. What do you mean by that, Tom? Can't find a gas mask for a decent price for nothing? As in you can't find one if you're looking for it, or you've just got loads of milsap, but you can't actually find a gas mask amongst all the milsap. Will it end globalization? I doubt it. Will it massively change things? I'd hope so. Because the thing is that a lot of people have pointed out is if it does end up killing lots of old people, it's going to massively change voting groups in every country. Whether that's for better or worse, I don't know. At least in the UK, as I said, it sounds a bit horrible, but at least in the UK, I mean, it would make housing a lot more affordable. Because the issue is with the UK, I live in an area where if you want to buy a house, not rent it, you're looking at 300, 400 grand, as in £400,000 sort of price, for a rather shitty small house, just because we're so overpopulated, and the housing in my area is so expensive. Like I've been wanting to rent for a while, but I'm needing to rent with one of my friends. So again, you know, like rent share, because that's a lot better way of doing it. As in, you get a multiple bedroom house or flat or whatever, and then one person, you know, you split the rent between each of the people living there. But he's currently trying to find like a 40-hour-a-week job so he can support that, because at the moment he can only get part-time work, despite the fact he's way more qualified than me. So yeah, I mean, I'm hoping at least if this culls a lot of the population, housing might be a bit more affordable. That'd be a nice thing. M15 for $70 isn't too bad a price. It's a good mask. Yugoslavia one, do you mean Yugoslav gas masks? They're not particularly good, I'm afraid. Yugoslavia masks melt quite easily, and nobody's quite sure why. They don't know if it's the rubber they're made with or what. But yeah, Yugoslavian M1s, apparently even sadly Serbian M2s, have a habit of just randomly melting. Like you'll go into your cupboard, apparently, if you've got one, you'll be like, oh, my mask's just drooped in on itself. So they use some sort of weird rubber in it or something. Thankfully, I don't think it does some sort of horrible thing where it melts and fuses to your face, just as in you've got it in storage and then you randomly go to get your mask and it's melted. Mine hasn't melted yet, but I know loads and loads of people have posted pictures online of melted Yugo masks. Polish MP5, if it's in good condition, is a very good mask. I like it. Clean NBC gear. Cleaning chemicals off is a lot more difficult, but in terms of cleaning like them for just viruses and that, spray them down with rubbing alcohol or like a sanitizer wipe. Check CM4s. I like the CM4. It doesn't fit me all that well, my CM4, but in terms of is it a good mask or not, I would say yes. I think my CM4's in here somewhere. He says and can't see it. Yeah, the Czech CM4 is a decent enough mask. Especially for the price, if you can find it. Oh, it's literally right there. But yeah, CM4 is a good enough mask. Oh look, this filter doesn't screw on all that well because it catches the voice diaphragm. Yeah, CM4 is a good enough mask. It's basically kind of a copy of the M15 and all those sort of Draeger M65 style masks. But it's got the voice diaphragm on the front, which is pretty much an exact rip-off of the American style one. I'll put it on so people can see it. We don't know what causes M1s and M2s to melt. Some people have thought if certain chemicals get on them, some people think it's due to age. I think Duke Nugget said he had one that melted even when he was taking really good care of it. So it might just be they decide to randomly implode on themselves. So yeah, that's the Czech CM4. Hopefully the voice diaphragm's quite clear. It is a very good voice diaphragm on this. The masks that you can get for often like £15 second hand. So these are really good. They discolor a little bit, but that's not going to affect the mask very much. It's got an oral nasal cup, so it's not going to fog up. But yeah, if you can find these cheap enough, these are very good surplus masks. It's just they don't always fit people that well. So what I mean by that is it's not got the best peripheral seal. That's the only thing that lets this down. Yeah, Israeli M15s are very good masks. But yeah, this, for those of you that don't know, they literally just did a 1-1 copy of the US voice diaphragm system that's also the one on the Israeli M15. So for people saying, oh, is there light coming through it? Yes, you will see light come through it because that's how these diaphragms work. They're just like clear bits of plastic with metal on each side or plastic on each side to keep them intact. But yeah, this one was from 1986. Oh, so this one was still made when the Cold War was going on. That's interesting. Unless that's meant to be 98 and it's upside down. I don't know, actually. I'm confused now. I assume it'd be 86, though. It says 48 inside. Is there a date on the straps? Something. I think it is 85, 86, it says on the strap. So yeah, that's your Czech CM4. I said it's not a brilliant mask because the main issue I have with it, it's very good other than this is what lets it down a bit for me. The peripheral seal could be better. So you have that German M65 problem of it not always tightening to your face very well. But other than that, yeah. But it's one of those masks where if you can still get them cheap from surplus sellers, they're worth getting. Right, have I missed any important comments? Sorry. No, it doesn't seem like I have. Matthew Sears paid $80 Canadian for the M15 with 4 filters, a bag, and a drinking tube. That's very good then, because what Canadian dollars aren't worth as much as American dollars, are they? So that's not even 80 American dollars, and you got it the mask, 4 filters. I assume a bag as well, did you? The drinking system. Yeah, that's a bloody good price. The Sparrow, thank you very much. He said, hey mate, a quick question. Do you know if FM12, CT12 anti-flash hoods, balaclavas are out there, like the ones for the S10? I assume they'd exist, but I've never actually seen them saying that. You can get the S10 ones to fit them absolutely fine, though. So if you buy an S10 flash hood, you can fit it to a CT12. That won't be an issue. Or an FM12. But I don't know if there are actually FM12 ones. Because I think there's less choices of outserts with the FM12 as well. Thank you for the donation. Yeah, I got my M15 for like £30 a while ago. Like when I say a while ago, I mean years ago. You know, that was a good price for it. But sadly, lots of this stuff does just go up in price. Right, I've got an M75 Patrick, or 75M, which is like the cheaper later variant of that same mask. It's hard to say. If it makes a good fit to your face, you can put a filter on it, right, and it's workable. The issue is it's kind of not great materials, so it's very hard to get an airtight seal with it. Also, I found even a larger size of those is pretty small. And as far as I'm aware, Hungarians don't have tiny heads, so I don't know what they were thinking when they designed that mask, when the size 4, which is the biggest size I could find for sale, is still like really tight on my head. So if you've got one laying around and it fits you well enough, it will work, but it wouldn't be a preference, a mask, I'd say. No, I don't have an M90. Who just said no one country has a good mask? I don't think I said that, did I? Yeah, but yeah, I'd say FM53s have them. Well, FM53s, sorry, Americans have good masks, Britain has good masks. Or I'm confused now, Chris. I'd say that's wrong, Canada Jack, because I would say Finland, every single mask Finland has made has been amazing. I was thinking about this earlier. Finnish World War II masks are like the best World War II masks. Finnish M61s are bloody good. They're like the best M9 copy ever made. Finnish M65s and M71s are amazing. Finland also used this bad boy, didn't they, in the M98, which are amazing. Thank you very much, Ewan. I'm going to be going off in a couple of minutes because I imagine Weapon Collector's starting to stream in a minute. But yeah, I would say Finland has never made a bad mask. Somebody might be able to prove me wrong, find a really weird shit Finnish mask. But as far as I'm aware, Finland has never made a bad mask. Depends on the condition of your PPM88. It's in quite a good design in theory. It's certainly better than the PMK1 and that. It's just whether or not it's still in good condition and which factory made it. Let me look up that filter. I don't know what filter that is, Orbis, without looking up. Invite to server. There we go. Right. I'm not finding many results for that when I search it. There's one that's come up in Google Images that looks a bit like it, but it doesn't look like it's 40mm. It looks like it's a weird proprietary one, so that one I wouldn't recommend. Being an American on the East Coast, well, I'd say the same thing most people are suggesting, including me, is basically get a load of food into your house to store. You know, if you don't need it for an emergency, just eat it or donate it to a homeless shelter or something. Get some bottled water, get some basic first aid supplies, and, you know, if things get bad, just wait it out at home with those supplies. Then, if you want to, have a mask and a suit and that kind of thing if you need to go out. Also, don't forget disinfectant, you know, on emergency shopping or something. You're right, Mega Man. The Earth isn't round, it's a sphere. Thank you, Dindonis. Yep, Portendown's done all sorts of fucked up shit fallacy, just like MK Ultra, with the CIA did all the fucked up shit as well. The S10's one of my favourite masks, it's amazing. Czech filters are pretty good in Mobe. I mean, I don't know at what point Czechoslovakia stopped using asbestos, but I imagine modern Czech filters are fine. And when I've used old Czech filters, when I used to just not even think about what was in filters, like when I used to use GP5 filters and that, old Czech filters like the old Polish MS4 filters are actually all right. I mean, if I had to use one, I'd still use one. You know, asbestos be damned. They're certainly safer than the Soviet masks because they were made to a higher standard. Not Soviet masks, sorry, Soviet filters. What model of Scott filter is it, Echo? But with most filters, the easiest way of telling is looking at the size. So, not that they're going to be as big as this filter, that's a bad example. Let's look at this one. So, when you've got a combination filter, generally you've got the front bits, the particle filter, the back bits, the charcoal. So you've got what looks almost like 2 layers to the filter. If it's quite thin and small, it's just going to be a particle filter. But if you look on the size, it might say like A2P3 or whatever. The thing is, Lifu, I might sound like a bit like a loser, but I only go out when I have to go to work at the weekends and when I'm doing charity volunteering on a Thursday. I mean, now and again I'll go out to do other things, but for most of the time I just watch videos on YouTube and just go and see friends either at their house or they come over mine. I mean, I'm going to be watching Weapon Collector's stream when I finish, so if it's a quick question I can answer it, Tom. But otherwise I'm going to be going offline. You're a flat earth retard. Goodbye. Yes, adult life is boring. I wouldn't say school is the best days of your life, but I would say a lot of adult life is boring just because it's the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. Is that the filter or the mask, Luke? But if it's a Draeger filter like the Haymac or Hayvac, whatever it's called, they're all right. If it's the older Zivilschutz filters, avoid. In-date GOS filters, you'd have to buy modern Russian or modern Chinese filters because pretty much nowhere uses GOS now except those two. As I was saying earlier, PhD, every single finish mask I've ever used is brilliant. So if it's a finish mask, I would say it's good, even if I don't know what the model is. Unless it turns out to be some weird finish abomination nobody knows about. Worst case scenario, you could use a GP5 filter, but I really wouldn't recommend it. I like Draeger, Luke, as in the company, but what I'm saying is with most filters, if it's a weird one from the 60s or earlier, you probably don't want to use it. It's hard to say because just simply saying it's a Draeger filter doesn't tell me much. Right, okay, Mike, I will finish now. So thanks, everybody. Thank you to everybody that donated. I won't be on tomorrow evening because it's a Saturday and I'll be at work all day. So when I get home from work, one of my friends from the same job as me, though, says today was very, very quiet. So maybe people are saying, oh, no, I don't want to go out with coronavirus. So I don't know if that's true or not. I will report back on Sunday. So I'm at work Saturday and Sunday. I will be on Sunday evening, so I don't have to get up early Monday for work. But as I'm at work all day Saturday and Sunday, I don't really like to stream Saturday evening. Anyway, don't forget to like the stream as you go off because it does help YouTube share it. And yep, I will be on Weapon Collector's stream in a minute, and I will have a quick look on Discord if there was somebody asking me a question on there, but I can't stay on long because I'm going to be concentrating on watching a stream. What, your work was the same, Peach? Quiet. Interesting. Right, I'll report back at the weekend now on Sunday. Right, thanks everybody. Goodbye. There'll be a video on 12 o'clock tomorrow and 12 o'clock Sunday, but I won't really be replying to comments very much tomorrow because I'll be at work, even though I don't reply very much anyway. Right, see ya.